This is Excellent Men, Manifest Destiny, issue 3. This is an anthology book. In the past, I have been incredibly critical and dismissive of stuff like Marvel Comics Presents and Marvel Fun Fair and basically any Marvel anthology book. But then there is the Excellent Men anthology books of the late noughties, the Endangered Species era, and I have praised this period before, and it's not just nostalgia speaking. I think it's 5 or 6 years of Excellent Men books. They were coordinated and planned incredibly well, and it was really satisfying for a reader. It truly rewarded you for reading some random mini-series here or there, or something like an anthology book that would have been filler inventory stories in any other scenario. Our first story here, it stars Snowman. Snowman, he has a 5-part story told across this mini-series. He is the main fixture. And there are 2 things straight away to note about these stories. The first is that most of them are done by creators who are involved with all the other Excellent Men books at the time. And the second is that some of them, like this one, they are actually resolving or furthering plot lines. This one deals with Snowman and his relationship with Mistake. Another thing to point out is that Snowman, he had gone from starring in adjectiveless Excellent Men to being a background presence in the main Uncanny Excellent Men. So a book like this, an anthology book, it is a great opportunity to spotlight the character again. And that is yet another thing I have to say about these books. It wasn't short stories starring Wolfman, who already has 2 solo books and appears in most the Excellent Men line, as well as the Avengers at this point. We had Snowman here, and more impressively, you also had characters like Gentile and Scalpman, characters who otherwise would never get the spotlight. And you had the main writers of the Excellent Men books involved. So it wasn't some random intern telling a useless story showing us Retrograde's never-before-seen backstory. These anthologies really worked because they were fleshing out and embellishing on this jam-packed franchise, and what it presented always felt relevant, or like it could very easily become relevant down the line. This here is quite major stuff. We're dealing with the aftermath of a relationship. Mistake betrayed the Excellent Men, but we are exploring if her relationship with Snowman was part of her scheme, or if she did have feelings for him. And then we have the gay Malcolm story. I have mentioned this so much in the reviews of Young Excellent Men. This not being included in that book anywhere is inexcusable. Not only is it the main exploration of gay Malcolm's character and his backstory, but it is the best character stuff linked to that series. This is by the same creators as the first story arc on that book, and this is a classic example of what I mean by these anthology books actually given a platform for the characters less focused on. We get gay Malcolm's backstory. He was a distant ancestor of Dr. X. He was a mutie, but he was also gay. So the superstitious, cowardly lot of yesteryear buried gay Malcolm alive, maybe just because he was gay. He lived for centuries trapped under the ground, and he was unearthed in the first story arc in Young Excellent Men. And that book never gives you a reason to care about gay Malcolm. It has one or two stray lines of dialogue hinting at this backstory and the character's sexuality. But gay Malcolm really doesn't do anything in all 12 issues of Young Excellent Men. And this short story was, and it remains, the most anyone bothered to deal with this character. He develops a friendship with Beast Boy, who is also on the Young Excellent Men, furthering my criticism of this not being in that book. He develops a friendship on account of them sharing the fact that they are both gay. They're not instantly boyfriends like would be done now. There isn't any suggestion of attraction. They just bond over that shared aspect. They have something in common, so they become friends. They are remembering the good hard days when Excellent Men characters were gay and it wasn't a big deal. They are talking about how they will both be pushed as far to the background as possible to instead retcon Snowman into being gay all along, even though you have just read a story about how Snowman was in love with a blue woman. Anyway, this is a good story. Gay Malcolm has some potential, but nothing is done with him after this. Then we have Steelman, and this one is maybe a bit less justifiable. Steelman was one of the main featured characters in Uncanny Excellent Men, and I feel like this character beat probably could have been it up in that book, and it sort of was with an old story arc that was similar. But this comes before that story, so I guess it just adds to it. Steelman, he is grieving for Elliot Page, who Joshua Whedonson, the proud feminist, killed off. and is dealing with it, is picking fights with things. There was a funny thing with the Excellent Men books and Joshua Wiedenson missing every deadline 1 billion times. And well, his run, it ended with Elliot Page dying, and the rest of the Excellent Men writers were already having to go above and beyond to accommodate the fact that Joshua Wiedenson would take like 2 years to finish a 6-issue story arc. But while that was happening, the Excellent Men timeline went on. So what ended up happening was Elliot Page died, and then the Excellent Men books didn't get around to acknowledging his death until much later on. Between his death and all the other books mentioning his death, there was the big Messiah Compel X crossover. It's just really funny to me, and a great reminder that Joshua Wiedenson isn't just a power-mad abuser of women, but a horribly unprofessional piece of shit writer too. Steelman calms down and he learns to appreciate the little things in life when a young girl asks for his help. I enjoyed these books as part of a larger picture, but by themselves, I didn't know if the same level of appreciation is there. I think all 3 stories in this are good. Maybe not the first one because it is part 3 of 5. But another thing to be thankful for is that the one story I wanted to focus on wasn't in issue 2, because I would have spent the entire video just worshipping the cover of issue 2. This is better than everything that has come out of the Excellent Men office since 2011, so I give it 7 thumbs up.